Hey guys, welcome back to another Clash Royale video. In my last video, I talked about some tips to defeat the Expo. So today I want to do a video on how to use the Expo. Taking a quick look at my deck here, just in case you guys wanted to try it out. But there it is. Let's go ahead and start opening up these chests here, and then we'll go into some replays. As always, starting with these free chests here. Getting some gold, tombstones, and some zaps. One more of those. More gold, hog rider, and some arrows. Moving on to this silver chest. Gold, 2 minions, and some arrows. Gold chest here. Gold, barbs, arrows, minions, and the Inferno Tower. The last chest here. Some gold, some gems, bombers, spear goblins, Inferno Tower, and archers. Alright, so there was the chest, guys. Let's go ahead to those replays. So here we are with that first replay, guys. This replay really shows off how powerful the Expo is if used properly. But I kind of screwed it up halfway through, so I'll point that out to you when it happens. But right at the start here, he's a level 9. I'm just going to wait for him to make the first move. He drops the Spirit Gobs on the right, so I'm going to go right ahead with the Expo on the left-hand lane. Now he sees that, and he tries to make a strong push on the right. But his mistake is his entire army is pretty weak to arrows, so I use 3 elixir arrows, and that kind of counters his entire push on the right there. So now he doesn't have any elixir on the left-hand side to defend that Expo, so it's going to lock onto his tower and do some pretty crazy damage here. And right at this point, he's just waiting for that elixir. He drops the barbs, but of course I've got the fireball ready, which is going to be the perfect counter for those barbs here. So now my crown tower is going to defend that Expo for me, and that Expo is just going to do some crazy damage to this tower. I dropped the barbs to defend that knight, and one Expo is actually going to take out the entire tower. He's not too happy about that, but I give him the old thumbs up. The best part about using the Expo, guys, is it makes your opponent really mad, so it's kind of funny to use. But right now, I'm going to try and make a push on the right with the Expo. And I dropped this Tesla here. Now here's the mistake I make, guys. I go to use the arrows to defend the Expo and the Tesla, but I make the mistake, I don't know if my finger slipped or something, and I dropped the Spear Goblins instead. And that allowed his entire push to take out my Tesla, take out my Expo, and do some crazy damage to my tower. And now he's got a pretty strong push coming back my way, and I don't have the elixir to defend. So my tower's at 130 health. If I had used the arrows instead of the Spear Gobs there, I would have defended that push, and my Expo would have locked onto his tower, and everything would be fine. But he takes out my right tower now, and the problem with the Expo, guys, is once you lose a tower, you can't really set up the Expo to do damage to his other tower, because he's just going to drop troops right on top of the Expo. So at this point, the best I can hope for is just to defend and hold out for a draw. So I'm going to set up the Expo in the back, use it to defend, use the Tesla up front to distract the troops, and at this point on, it's 30 seconds left. There's no way I can win this match. I'm just trying to defend as long as I can. And he's going to try hard. He knows that I can't set up the Expo on that other tower, so he's just going to push as hard as he can. And the great part about the Expo, guys, is you can actually put it behind your tower if you want to defend. So right now I got 2 Expos up. They're going to defend like crazy. I use that cannon. And with his army, he doesn't really have any chance to get through. I don't know why he dropped a freeze there. He doesn't have any troops in my area, so I don't know why he dropped that freeze there. Now we're into overtime. I got the Tesla and the cannon set up there. He's going to keep trying to push to take out that tower, and I'm just going to keep setting up some Expos to defend here. Now all of this could have been avoided if I just would have dropped those arrows instead of those Spirit Gobs right when he took out my tower, so that kind of sucks. But 40 seconds left. All I have to do is defend and hold up for a draw. And things are looking pretty good. Again, he's not too happy about this whole thing. So now we're at 20 seconds left. He's going to shoot arrows for some reason at my tower. Doesn't do too much damage, so I don't know what he was trying to do there. And here we go again with the fireball and the barbs. If you guys are using barbs and you know they have a fireball, you have to kind of bait the fireball out before you go with the barbs. So I just give him the thumbs up there. It was a pretty good game. But that replay really showed off at the start how strong the Expo can be if you use it properly. Let's take a look at the next replay here, guys. Now this replay here had a pretty crazy ending, so make sure you watch till the end. But this guy was using a pretty good counter to the Expo. He had the lightning spell, which, like I said in my last video, is a great counter for the Expo. So he drops the archers on the left here. I'm going to go on the right here with the Expo and the Tesla to defend it. And he's not going to hesitate. He's going to drop the fireball to damage my Expo and my tower. And then he finishes that off with a lightning spell, does some damage to my tower, and takes out the Expo. Now, the thing is, that was a pretty decent elixir trade for me, because as you can see here, I'm up 7, he's got 4. So now we're kind of up on elixir, but I know he's got the fireball and the lightning spell, so it's going to be hard for me to set up the Expo. And one of the cool things about trying out the Expo deck, guys, is even if you don't like the Expo, if you're having a hard time beating the Expo, just trying it out for a day or two makes you realize a lot of different ways you can counter it. Because you'll use it, people will beat it, and you'll learn different strategies of how to defeat it. So like I said, lightning spell is great for that. So right now I'm going to go again with the Expo to set up there. Unfortunately, he's going to target the archers, and he's just going to wait for the lightning spell to come up again. I do get a couple of hits off on that tower, but with the lightning spell, you hit the Expo and the tower, so my tower is actually lower health than his. So things aren't looking too great right now. I'm just going to keep kind of setting up on the right-hand side. And just kind of, the whole point of the Expo deck is if you want to pair it with some low elixir cards, so that you can cycle through your cards faster than your opponent can. So if they're using a lightning spell, if you can cycle through your cards faster, and a lot of people use the elixir pump for this reason, because you can get elixir pretty fast and then you can cycle through your cards. If you can get your Expo back up before they had their lightning spell, then you're going to do some damage to their tower. So right now I got some barbs coming up. I'm going to drop the Expo again. Hopefully it's going to lock on the tower this time. Now unfortunately it doesn't, and again he's got that lightning spell. I'm going to do some solid damage to the Expo. It only gets a couple hits off on that tower, so right now things aren't looking too great. Now he drops his Hog Rider on the left. Unfortunately I dropped my cannon too far out of reach. It's not going to distract that Hog Rider, so I'm forced to use the skeletons to defend. And right now I'm going to go again with that Expo. He's going to go ahead and fireball, do some damage to my tower again. Now fortunately, it's locked onto that tower. It's going to do some decent damage here. The Tesla's going to take out that dragon for me. He goes ahead with that lightning spell again, and now we're pretty even for damage this time. His tower's at 670, and I'm at 630. So things are looking a little bit more even right now. And like I said, guys, if you take a look, my Expo is up again before his lightning spell is. So that's the whole point of trying to cycle through your cards. Now we're into overtime. This is where things start to get pretty crazy. My Expo is locked in his tower. He uses a lightning spell. 315 health on my tower. 340 health on his tower. All he has to do is one more lightning spell and my tower is done. I'm going to set up my Expo here. He drops his dragon and his tombstone. I'm going to use the fireball, take out that tombstone. Now watch this, guys. Watch how close this is. Expo's going to get a couple hits off on his tower. He's got his lightning spell. He drops his lightning spell half a second too late. I get the 1 crown win. So that was a pretty close match, guys. Pretty crazy. So moving on to that final replay, guys. This one was another one against a level 9, and I was actually using the elixir pump in this one, so you guys can see how that affects the Expo gameplay. So right at the start here, I'm going to go ahead and wait for him to make the first move. He drops the golem, so right now I can't use my Expo, just because it's going to lock onto that golem, and the golem has a ton of health, so I dropped the elixir pump in the middle to distract that golem, and he uses the spear gobs in behind, so I'm going to wait for the golem to get up front, drop my barbs behind it, take out the spear gobs. He uses the minion horde, which I had the arrows up to counter, so things are looking pretty good at this point. His golem's going down pretty quick, so I'm going to start setting up on the right-hand side for that Expo. Now, unfortunately, I used the cannon a little bit too far forward, so his archers are able to take that out. So right now, I'm just going to wait for those archers to move up and wait for myself to get 10 elixir, just so I can drop the Expo and the Tesla at the same time. Now, up to this point, he doesn't know I have the Expo, so he makes the mistake of dropping the elixir pump in the back. So now's the perfect opportunity to go in on the right and get that Expo doing some damage to his tower. So he drops the giant skeleton to defend. Now the giant skeleton is pretty good, but it's pretty slow. And by the time his bomb takes out my Expo, I've already done a crazy amount of damage to his tower. So there we go, 1 Expo, his tower is down to 900 health. Things are looking a little bit good for me right now. So again, just waiting for full elixir. Now that I know he's got that golem, I'm going to play it defensively. I know his golem's up right now, so I know he's going to go on the right-hand side. He drops it on the right. I'll use my elixir pump to distract that golem. And right now, all I gotta do is just kind of make this defense here. He's got nothing supporting his golem, so I'm not too sure why he'd drop it and then not support it. He drops the minion horde. I'm going to use arrows to take care of all that. I'm going to use my barbs on the left. But the great thing about having the barbs on the left here, guys, is he's going to have to choose to defend the left-hand side, and he does. So now I know I have the opportunity to go in on the right, drop that Expo, and take care of that tower. Now the 1 elixir skeletons are perfect for defending the Expo, guys. It distracted those barbs just enough so my cannon and my Tesla could take them out. And now my Expo's going to go and finish out that tower. So there we go, 1 tower down. 20 seconds left. All I have to do is defend for the rest of the match. I'm going to drop those barbs behind the giant skeleton to pull him back. And with 13 seconds left, he's got no chance to win this. So there you go, guys. That was my video on the Expo. Let me know what you think in the comments. Any feedback you have with this channel is appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Clash Royale videos. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you in the next video.